What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about what's happening right now in the 2026 MLB free agency. We've got several important stories to cover. Ryan Helsley could potentially be signing as a starting pitcher in the coming weeks or months, but let's break this down piece by piece. The Milwaukee Brewers are going to sign J.B. Bukauskas to a minor league contract with a spring training invitation. He missed the entire 2025 season due to a flexor injury. Bukauskas came to Milwaukee in 2023 from waivers off the Seattle Mariners, where he pitched 6 innings without allowing a single run as a reliever. Unfortunately, he had finger and neck injuries, which caused him to miss significant time. He spent many years in the minor leagues, mostly in AAA. In Single A, he didn't do badly in 2018, posting a 2.20 ERA. And in AAA, across 14 starts and 20 total games, he had a 5.25 ERA. Bottom line, he's a player the Brewers know, who unfortunately injuries have hurt throughout his career, and they're signing him again. The Washington Nationals are going to re-sign Eric Mejia to a minor league contract with spring training invitation. This was reported by Baseball America. He started his season in Single A last year, striking out 33.3% in 12 innings. In Double A, he posted a 2.33 ERA in 24 appearances with a walk rate of 18.6% and opponents hitting just 174 against him. The Atlanta Braves are going to re-sign pitcher Joe Ross to a 1-year contract worth $2.25 million. Ross is being represented by Larry Reynolds and Rossi Lopez Herrera. He was designated for assignment in September 2025 by the Milwaukee Brewers. Immediately, the Atlanta Braves claimed him off waivers, and he pitched 2 2/3 innings. He was projected to sign for $3.4 million through salary arbitration. In the end, they released him and are bringing him back on a much lower contract. He started his career in 2019 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, was with Toronto in 2021, Kansas City from 2021 to 2022, the Athletics in 2022, Milwaukee Brewers from 2023 to 2025, and the Atlanta Braves. His best season, without a doubt, was in 2023, where he posted a 2.55 ERA in 69 games as a reliever. MLB is surprising us once again. Multiple insiders reported, Ken Rosenthal and Katie Wu from The Athletic, that reliever and closer Ryan Helsley will be receiving interest from multiple teams to be a starting pitcher. The only team confirmed at the moment looking at Helsley to be a starter is the Detroit Tigers. When I first saw this news, I was shocked, but once I looked deeper into Ryan Helsley's minor league numbers, the surprise went away and it started making sense. Initially, it didn't make sense to me. I was thinking, how are you going to make Helsley a starter? But now that I see his numbers, well, they're going to try it and see if it works. Obviously, in recent years, several relievers have signed as starters. Ronaldo Lopez, Seth Lugo, Michael King. Well, Michael King didn't sign. He was traded to San Diego, and they put him in the rotation. Obviously, Jordan Hicks with the San Francisco Giants. I think it benefits Ryan Helsley to sign as a starter. Why? Because he's going to earn much more than he could signing as a reliever. Just to give you an idea, when Jordan Hicks signed with San Francisco, they gave him $11 million annually. Today, even though he failed as a starter, he's one of the best paid relievers in the league with Boston. Clay Holmes this season with the Mets made $13 million. If they'd signed him as a reliever, he'd be one of the highest paid. Same with Seth Lugo. But Lugo succeeded and Ronaldo Lopez succeeded. So bottom line, if Ryan Helsley wants money, he needs to sign as a starter, not as a reliever. Whether it works out is another thing entirely. Speaking about his minor league numbers, he started his career in 2015 as a Cardinals prospect in the rotation, 9 games in rotation, 11 total. In 16, he had a full year in rotation, 17 starts, 1.61 ERA. In 2017, 2.72 ERA, 24 total games, 23 of them starts. 2018, 1.3 ERA in games. In 19, 4.58 ERA, 177 in games. And in 2023, which was rehab, 5 games in the bullpen. The last time Ryan Helsley was a starter was in 2019. He's been developed as a reliever in the big leagues since his debut, pure relief work, both setup man and closer, not a single game in the rotation. He has 69 games of starting experience in the minor leagues. He has an arsenal of 4 pitches, his fastball, slider, curveball, cutter. I don't know. We'll see if he signs as a starter, but for now the Tigers and other teams are pursuing him. Dustin May apparently is one of the targets for the San Diego Padres in this free agency. That doesn't mean they're going to sign him. They just have him on their radar since San Diego is looking for cheap rotation options. Dustin May comes off a difficult year with the Dodgers and Boston. With Boston, when he was supposed to improve, he didn't improve, and like typical Dustin May, he ended up getting injured. A 1-year contract is being projected. It would be very surprising if they give him a 2-year deal. I think for the Padres, it would be a controversial signing because May, unfortunately, didn't have a good year, but financially, it's exactly what they're looking for. The Los Angeles Dodgers will have pitcher Gavin Stone back for next season. He's completely recovered from his Tommy John surgery. If the season started today, unless injuries happen, he'd be a long reliever, being one of those insurance guys in case there's an injury in the rotation. We mentioned before, Brandon Gomes says they're going to have a 6-man rotation. That's to include Roki Sasaki full-time in the Dodgers rotation since they had him as closer. If Glasnow gets injured, which is very likely to happen, or something happens to Sasaki or Ohtani, I don't know, Yamamoto gets hurt or whoever, because injuries are always around the corner and can happen to anyone. Gavin Stone will be there along with other starters like Emmett Sheehan, completely available unless they trade them for Skubal or Stephen Kwan or Jarren Duran to be starters. For now, if the 2026 season started tomorrow or today, he'd be a reliever. Predictions are indicating the Angels could be signing Walker Buehler. I'll repeat this. These are simply predictions. Nothing is completely certain. Walker Buehler signed 1 year, $22 million with Boston, did very poorly, got DFA'd, signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. He worked little with Philadelphia, but showed some pretty good things. I don't think Walker Buehler wants to continue his career as a reliever. When the Red Sox sent him to the bullpen, he didn't like it. He didn't make a drama because he knew he wasn't doing the job, but he wasn't happy or content. The guy got angry when they moved him to the bullpen, not at the franchise, but at himself. Then the Phillies used him as a reliever. He had no choice with the opportunity to go to a contending team, but he still thinks and believes he has what it takes to be a starter in the big leagues. The Angels just hired a good pitching coach in Mike Maddox, and supposedly that pitching staff, both starters and relievers, should grow. We have an update on the Kyle Tucker and Los Angeles Dodgers situation, in quotes update, because I already told you this a couple weeks ago. The Los Angeles Dodgers keep insisting the only way to sign Kyle Tucker would be on a short contract. They don't want to give him a 10, 11, 12-year contract, 9 years. Why? For starters, because Tucker is practically nothing away from turning 30, and they also have good prospects they need to give playing time to. I'm referring to Josue de Paula and Eduardo Quintero. Both are in the ranking of the top 100. Clearly, the Dodgers know that to develop de Paula or Quintero, you need time. They're not going to arrive immediately, and be a Fernando Tatis Jr. or Ronald Acuna Jr., you need time, and that's why they're looking for established players, but on somewhat short contracts. And Kyle Tucker, I doubt he signs with the Dodgers on a short contract when what almost all free agents are looking for is stability for a long time. I'll repeat, they're not going to play baseball their whole lives. If you don't take advantage when you're in a good moment and have high value, if you don't take advantage now, you never will. In 30 years, you won't be playing baseball. It's now or never. And I think that could be an impediment for the Dodgers to sign Kyle Tucker, especially because the San Francisco Giants, the Yankees, among other teams, would be willing to give him that long-term contract. So we can say right now the Dodgers are taking a big step back in the fight for Kyle Tucker. We'll see what happens. Even Joe Hashishu is being posted for MLB. He's a very young pitcher at just 25 years old, currently plays for the Dragons in Taiwanese baseball. He had a pretty good season, 2.05 ERA, striking out almost 29%. He has a pretty interesting arsenal. Right now, this guy's objective is either I go to the big leagues or I go to Japan. Those are the two leagues where he'd be interested in playing, leaving Taiwan. What several insiders commented, especially Japanese ones, is that Hashishu is generating an awakening interest from multiple teams. Keep in mind, he's a starter. Some big league teams don't want him for their rotation. They want him for their their bullpen, and one of those teams is the Los Angeles Dodgers. There are others. At the moment, it's not known which teams are pursuing this pitcher. He's going to represent Taiwan in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. That could greatly influence his decision and the decision of many teams. Personally, I don't know him. I'm telling you, if I don't know the player, I prefer not to give an opinion. That would be irresponsible. I'm telling you what I researched, and he's a 25-year-old pitcher, one of Taiwan's best, with a lot of talent who could be a good starter. But some teams want him for the bullpen. Pitcher Tarek Skubal once again spoke with the media. He continues to be heavily rumored if he's leaving the Tigers, and a lot of misinformation has been coming out on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. That's why I tell you, when looking at information, try to verify it with multiple sources, not just one, because during this free agency period, there's an impressive amount of smoke, and many smoke sellers try to make that information seem realistic. They try to sell it as if it were real, and they often put an insider's name, even though that insider didn't say it, and people believe it. Yesterday, I found a post, and I won't say where from because I don't want to create controversy, but I found a post saying Skubal had been traded to the Mariners for 5 good prospects, and they put Jeff Passan said it, and even tagged Jeff Passan, and many people believe it. So Skubal once again had to come out and speak and say, look, I don't want to leave the Tigers. It's true, I'm looking for a new contract. I'm within my rights. I'm going to be a free agent at the end of the season, but this stuff about me wanting to leave and not wanting to be here anymore is completely false. I don't want to be traded. I'm in conversations and I want to stay here. That's what Skubal added. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's what Skubal said, referring to free agency. He's not thinking about that. He's thinking about how he's going to perform in 2026 to have a good year. That's what Skubal is thinking about. Yesterday, I mentioned the trade the Mets and Rangers made. The Mets are acquiring second baseman Marcus Semien, and the Rangers are acquiring outfielder Brandon Nimmo. Semien's contract is $72 million for the next 3 years, and Nimmo's contract is $101 million until 2031. The Mets are sending $5 million to the Rangers from Brandon Nimmo's contract, as if that's a big difference. Many people asked me yesterday, hey, Luis, but this trade, what's the point? Why did they do it? Nimmo was one of the best on this team. Yes, it's true, but the Mets wanted to free up some payroll a little. They have it very tight, and you free it up more with Semien. $73 million is better to pay than $101 million. Plus, they're looking for defense, and Marcus Semien at second is a monster. He's 35 years old. Yes, that's true. And that's not so good either, but Marcus Semien is a defensive monster. And Brandon Nimmo took a day deciding whether to opt out or not, and before making the decision to waive his no-trade clause, he spoke with Jacob deGrom, and deGrom apparently had a hand in the trade, talking and convincing Nimmo to go to the Rangers. So that's the trade. We're not going to talk much about it because I already talked about it yesterday, and I'll talk about it in a few days. Speaking of that, the Mets are seriously focusing on getting Cody Bellinger. Today, Cody Bellinger has become the #1 target for this organization. And now that the Mets freed up a little money, obviously they'd be interested in signing Cody Bellinger. He can play outfield and obviously first base. There are problems with Edwin Diaz's contract and the Mets. Right now there's a 2-year gap. This was reported by Will Salmon from The Athletic. The New York Mets would be willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Edwin Diaz is looking for a $100 million contract for 5 years, and that's currently creating a gap in negotiations. If the Mets don't manage to sign Edwin Diaz, they're going to make an effort to get Devin Williams or Robert Suarez. The Pittsburgh Pirates are interested in Jorge Polanco, Ryan Helsley, and Okamoto in this free agency. Remember, the Pirates offered $78 million to Josh Naylor before he re-signed with Cleveland. So they're going to try to make a splash in this free agency, signing one of the big available players. To close out today's video, let's talk about Michael King. The Miami Marlins held conversations with this pitcher while also exploring the market for first and third base. Michael King has already had conversations with multiple teams. Insider John Morosi pointed out it's very likely the Rangers keep Corey Seager after the Marcus Semien move. The Corey Seager exit talk was getting very strong before the Marcus Semien trade, and now that they moved that second baseman, things have calmed down. I told you the first time I talked about Seager, I don't think they're going to trade him. Honestly, I think the rumor will die down, and it seems that's how it's going to be. People ask me if the Rangers are thinking about a rebuild. No. To do a rebuild, you'd have to move DeGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, Corey Seager, the veteran players who currently have good value to get prospects. And no, the Rangers aren't rebuilding. They're trying to do something completely different from a rebuild. They're looking for other pieces to remain competitive, so they're not rebuilding. All right, everyone, that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.